Fahad Mustafa, a pleasure to have you here in London. How are you?
Pleasure. I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We met last year just before the release of Na Maloom Afraad 2. Following that though, tell me why you thought it was a good decision to join the Jawani franchise.
Well, to be very honest, it was not my decision to make. We hardly make movies in Pakistan. So when a good production house, when a good team makes a movie, I think one should be a part of it. And I already do a franchise called Na Maloom Afraad, which did pretty well last year also. And this is also one of the hit franchises that we have. And the entire canvas of the film is too big,
Yeah.
and it got bigger because I became a part of it.
You've maintained that only two people in Pakistan know how to make movies, Nadeem Beg and Nabil Qureshi. Isn't that unfair on the rest of the filmmakers in the country?
See, it's not me who's saying that. I talk about box office results. To be very honest, I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying the rest of the people are not good directors. It's just that we need to go into the right direction. Filmmaking is a team effort. It has to be a collective effort. But unfortunately, what happens is one particular person drive their own goals, which is not fair. So I still believe when it comes to box office, when it comes to people who watched these movies, it's their say. They just tell us that these are the two directors, so why not to work with them?
In fact, you said to me last year, you've got to give the people what they want. You said you've got to give them exactly what they asked for. You can't keep pushing forward. I remember very clearly you said you can't keep pushing forward the saddest image of Pakistan. There has to be positivity, there has to be colour, there has to be light, which clearly is reflected in both your film releases this Eid, Jawani Phir Nahi Ani 2 and Load Wedding. We'll talk about the film specifically in a moment, but your journey has been extraordinary. You were a TV actor who wasn't being pushed by the TV channel he was doing dramas for. You jumped ship to ARY, you became a game show host at the same time, your movie started doing extraordinary business, and really you're a force to be reckoned with in Pakistani entertainment now. Is that just clever marketing or is it a lot of hard work?
I think it's a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck as well, I believe. I've been very lucky, to be very honest. I got a chance to work with people who were actually producing and directing right things at the right moment, probably. So I happened to be there. I'm an easygoing person. That is one thing that has helped me, Rest of the actors, I believe they're far more talented than I am. It's just that the direction is not right, They should be grounded, they should work hard. In spite of being a star, I think I don't pretend like one. But I've seen all the other actors because I'm a producer myself. Sometimes I feel like, maybe I haven't done anything, and the way these people are talking, and they've just done hardly one or two projects. So I think the directors and the producers, they only like the hard work that I put in my work. Rest, I think it's all luck.
Talk to me about your roles in both films, why they're unique and why you're not threatened by them both releasing on the same day.
Well, I'm not threatened because I'm not the producer of any of them. But to be very honest, they knew all along from the beginning that these two films are going to clash and they'll be releasing at the same day. The distributors, I think they did their math, and the producers as well. It's just that they're so different. What challenged me was that I have to look entirely different from the other project, which somehow I did it. If you see both my films, nobody able to figure it out how different this can be at one particular time. The film Load Wedding, when it comes to that, I think it was a very simple film, So I tried to look like a very simple, lovable, innocent person. On the other hand, there's this corn-headed guy who's evilish person, So it was fun to play both the characters in a country where we hardly make movies, and I get two films so different from each other. So I think that's.
Yeah, but the problem for me is the fact that there is another 50 weekends in the year that these films could have released on. Why are producers so invested on these Eid weekends? Because we've seen with films like Parchi that films can be successful at the box office if they don't release on a holiday festival.
I don't know what's your criteria of success, to be very honest, because I still believe that there are few films which have done better, and they were all released on Eid.
Obviously, I'm not saying that Parchi did the numbers of a Punjab Nahi Jaungi or Na Maloom Afraad.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that.
So these people are following their own records, so they have to be very careful with that. And they have been coming on Eid, since the beginning.
Of course.
So nobody wants to let that go. There's a footfall. There's a lot of people who don't watch cinemas normally, because this is the only festivity which really matters. The person who's not supposed to watch film all year, he also goes and watch movie on Eid. So it's a big thing for them. So either it's a good film or a bad film, you somehow get an edge. So maybe that's what people wants to use. And on the other hand, it's just that it has been a routine. Like for the last 4 years, I do come on Eid, so that's what it is. I've become like, I'm so sorry to say this, but I'm a Salman Khan of Pakistan. Now this will be taken in a very wrong manner.
Humayun Saeed could say the same thing.
Absolutely, sir. And why not if we both come together? So let's just see that maybe we could do a 100 crore movie, and that'll be a record of its own.
You have to be a very secure actor to do a film in an ensemble cast that's also led by a fellow leading star like Humayun Saeed. And also, you're both, the other thing that you both have in common is you're both actor producers. Obviously, you haven't produced this film, but you both have a mind that works in that way. Was that actually an advantage to working together, or did your ideas clash at any point?
Oh, it was a pleasure working with Humayun. I respect Humayun Bhai so much, because he has been the inspiration for me all along. I've worked with all actors in Pakistan, and I've done a lot of work as an actor in his productions also. And my first ever serial, which I did for television, I played his son, which he never tells to anybody, but it's just that the guy is hardly aging. It's just that I think he's one person who's not insecure at all, and he gives you your due respect, which is, I think, the best thing that the guy has. And I've never felt a single day that some way or the other he's trying to cut my scenes or something like that. He in fact tells me, yeah, you should do this one instead of me. So I think that's why he's so successful also, and there was nothing wrong with that.
Talking about Load Wedding, when I heard the title of the film, I immediately thought, is it a play on load shedding? Is it a play on load shedding?
See, there's a lot of load shedding in Pakistan, and then there's a lot of weddings in Pakistan which have their own load, like dowry for that matter. So we are, as me, Nabil and Fiza, always we touch something which is very important, which is very relevant to what is happening in Pakistan right now. So people somehow connect with that. So we thought with humor there should be a message also, which I personally don't believe that you should be doing that all the time, but why not if your story goes with it? So I think it's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a very intelligent film that Pakistani audiences will watch.
So it's not about load shedding?
No, it's about load that comes along with wedding.
Okay.
So that's a metaphor kind of a thing.
Because that would have been another issue that you could have quite easily shed light on, the load shedding problem.
I tell you what, because of load shedding in Pakistan, the population is increasing. So that's another load that weddings actually are bringing to Pakistan.
It's really interesting the perspective that you have on a lot of these issues. And yet, on this Eid, the two films that you star in will appeal to very different audiences. One is a very Punjab, heavy, colourful, bright, culturally rich film. And one is a much more modern, urban representation of where Pakistan has got to. Is that progressive? Is it good that we are in a space where two distinctly different audiences can go and enjoy films catered to them at the cinema?
I think why not? As you know, it's a young industry, and we have to explore different stories. We have to explore different genres. We cannot be making similar kind of films all the time. Like Nabil has been making films which were Karachi centric. You've seen all the films.
Yes.
So we were also a little bored, where to shoot, what kind of stories we should tell, and all of a sudden he thought, yeah, let's go to Punjab. And honestly, I'm telling you, I went to Punjab and I could say and I could vouch that nobody has shot Punjab the way Nabil and we have done in this time. It is so beautiful, it is so raw. I tell you, you put camera anywhere and you get a beautiful frame. It's like art direction has been done already. So it was so beautiful, and I really believe that is the USP of the film. And then on the other hand, there were very smaller issues which we've highlighted in the film. Like Mevish is playing a character of a polio, what do you call those girls?
Polio patient?
Polio agent, basically, who goes to the to home of people and
Oh, right, okay.
Exactly. So it's like women empowerment also, and yet there is humor also to it. So we are giving messages out there, yet it's going to be a funny ride. So I think Nabil has done a fabulous job with the film.
For you, are you personally invested in one more than the other? I mean, with Load Wedding, that's your lead role. You are the star of that film. In this, it is an ensemble role. Do you have more invested in one over the other?
No, I don't think so.
Don't give me the politically correct answer.
No, I tell you why. Because if Jawani doesn't do well, I won't be the one, blamed for.
Yes.
Because there are lots of other people. If it does well, even then it's the same case. It's going to be everybody's cake. But if Load Wedding is not going to do well, it's going to be me and just me. So I think I'm a little more concerned about Load Wedding. I'm a little more inclined towards it because I've done a lot more you say hard work in that film because it's just my film, and it's only fair, you know. It's and Humayun also knows that. But when it comes to JPN, I've just had fun, you know, and the chemistry will show. It's because I haven't thought too much in the film that has shown on the screen that, you know, how much fun I'm having. And I was not expecting that it's going to come out so well, my character in particular. The overall film was wonderful, of course. But then my character has come out so well that now I'm a threat to all these people.
You know, it's really interesting because the comments you make are all tongue-in-cheek, but some people brand you arrogant because you say these things, you know, I've known you, I've met you before, I know that you're not that person, but there is this public perception of who Fahad Mustafa is, but you don't really care about it much.
I don't know yet. See, the problem is I love the process of filmmaking. I don't like these interviews things and all these things because, you know, that is one thing which doesn't matter. That's not what makes me happy. The process of filmmaking is what makes me happy. So if I'm happy there, I don't really care, you know.
What people think.
What people think, because the audiences are okay with it. Yeah. They don't really care what's happening. They just go and watch your work. They just, I think they evaluate you just because of what you're doing on TV, not what you're doing off screen. So I'm a human being. I crack jokes. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. It's sometimes you'll call me arrogant, sometimes you call me funny. So I think it's okay. I don't mind.
Do you worry about the state of Pakistani cinema? And I ask you that because for some reason, some things sit really well with the audiences and some things are rejected completely.
Most of the things.
Most of the things. But some of those things are really good. Like, for example, Cake, which was a film that released. And it was brilliant. It was really good. It was well written. The characters were well etched. But it was rejected at the box office. You know, where is the problem there?
Where the problem is, we need to develop the trust, first of all. Audiences don't trust us. Like, audience only trust us with the production houses that has already given such great hits, like Nadeem himself or Nabil for that matter. People doesn't know who was the director of this film Cake, so they don't trust them, you know. So first of all, we need to build that trust. At least it will take good 2-3 decades, to be very honest. I'm being very practical and very realistic here. You go watch a bad Bollywood film only because you've known the industry for so long. That, you know, you know that something is going to come out of this film. But with Pakistani cinema, you need to develop that trust first. So for that, right now, I think we just have to make good commercial films so that people do get used to come to the cinemas. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Is there a lack of professionalism in Pakistan?
No, not at all.
I say that because you did an interview where you said that as a producer, you often see young actors coming and demanding. I actually spoke to Mavra about it earlier, but demanding things on set that they're used to from other productions maybe, and not realizing that there are financial constraints.
That's youth, you know. That's they still are looking for a direction. They don't know what they want in lives. I think that's going to figure out.
But there's not a problem with professionalism.
It's not that big of a deal, to be very honest, right now. Right now, we just need to be consistent of making good movies. Whenever I feel that there's an actor who wants to do good work, I think you should give him a chance. If you don't give him a chance, there's going to be frustration. Then the entire energy is shifted somewhere else. If he has a good project, he won't be thinking of something else. So I think we need to come up with good ideas and then execute them. Like, lots of directors, writers have good ideas, but the execution goes wrong. So halfway through the project, the actor gets to know that this is not what I signed for. So you know, the frustration comes in, and then you're half-heartedly doing the project. So I don't blame just the actors, because actors have been very good to me also. It's not that. It's vice versa. You know, it depends. It varies from people to people.
Finally then, you are stretched. You are a TV producer, you are a TV actor, film actor, a TV game show host. Do you ever worry about having to give one of those things up? Because I guess the more and more successful your films become, which they are, they're becoming increasingly successful, you are going to be pushed for time. You are eventually going to have to decide which of those things are a priority.
See, I tell you what, I'll have to give up my game show one day, which is going to happen eventually. I always come up with backup plans. I always do that. When I was acting, I wanted to produce because I don't want to be acting all the time. when I started producing, I thought this is not just one thing that I want to do. I started a game show hosting. Then the game show was like a huge hit. I got into films now. So right now I'm thinking of kettle farming, and I'll do that. I'm serious.
Are you serious?
I am actually. Yeah.
Really?
I want to keep myself excited, you know.
Okay.
So whatever excites me.
Well, on that note of excitement, Fahad, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. God bless. I hope to see you next year again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.